Most UK investors are stuck on this question. Should you just buy ETFs or should you also buy individual stocks? And the truth is, I think a lot of people get it completely wrong. They either go one way or the other, or they go too heavy in stocks with the wrong type of mold or chasing yield, for example. Because it's not realistically the question of should you be in stocks, ETFs, whatever. It's more about how you actually use them and use them to benefit your portfolio. So let's get into it. And let me know in the comments, do you have stocks or do you have ETFs or a combination of both? So the easy path is actually ETFs for obvious reasons. They do shadow a little bit of the blows, if you make sense to that. So when we talk about the likes of, say, the FTSE 100, random example here, right? It will be instant diversification across many sectors within the UK. It is low effort, it is lower cost, and it is obviously great for beginners. And yeah, you can talk about average returns or less control situations. Not to mention, if you have too many, you have an overlap. We've all talked about this, it's quite clear. Not to mention, again, a lot of them, if you look at the All World Fund and stuff like that, you can talk about, say, or the S&P 500, whatever it may be, heavily weighted towards the US market, which I get, but it depends on you. Yes, they are the easiest way to get rich slow in the slow lane. The problem you have is sometimes you want a little bit more, which is where stuff like the stock market comes in terms of individual plays, higher potential returns. Now, depending on what platform you go on, whether you use Lightyear, whether you use Trading 212, whatever it may be, they are all geared up in the same way to give you the same amount of information, growing dividends potentially with dividend yield, for example. You have control over your portfolio. You can look at, say, Rolls-Royce Holdings and see the performance, and you'll know that you will find it a bit more engaging as well to be a part of a stock versus, say, an ETF. But it requires a hell of a lot more research if you even are looking at brokers or Yahoo Finance, whatever website, even as I say before in previous videos, Snowball Analytics. It requires a hell of a lot more research, and each platform will have different data points that you need to be careful of. It will kind of arguably be yes, if you are in a lot of stocks or different types of stocks, you may have less diversification in certain points, but ultimately, you could win by having both. But we'll talk about that later on. But when we talk about what people technically do wrong, is I've talked about it before in previous videos where we talk about the overlap check here, where many people will, and you can use my tool for free, it's completely free, you can use it. They'll have many different ETFs, and you may well have the All World Fund. You may well have something like, I don't know, a part of the emerging market or something like that, like Japanese market. You may well have, as I said, an emerging market. You might also have, say, the VUC, which is obviously the FTSE 100. And then all of a sudden you start looking at your portfolio thinking, oh, bollocks, I'm a little bit overweight here on some of it, not all of it, but some of it. And that's the thing, you've got to have a little bit of diversification. And even though there's 4 different ones as you'd think, the emerging markets in the world fund, they may well amalgamate a little bit together. So you have to be very mindful, not to mention semiconductor Taiwan has a decent amount of the spread here. You just need to check that one part. And again, as well, you could argue, what about if you own, say, Apple or Amazon or one of the big Magnificent Seven assets? Guess what? They're going to be in those ETFs as well, pretty much, especially the All World Fund, especially the Nasdaq, especially the S&P 500. But another thing that people do, they look at dividend yield and they go and chase it. I'm not joking, right? When people do this, it really riles on my titties. Because what happens is they will look at, like, say, this, for example, Playtech. You've probably never ever heard of it. But what happens is, and I get comments all the time about this, why do you not go for yield? Because of that. Long story short, it will be a weird kind of thing. And look at the drop there. This is like really weird. As you can see, it's just not ideal at all. You will find that a lot of companies that do pay high yield will have honking performances. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. And the other thing that people completely cock up is overcomplication. They will look at the great in the US or the UK, the biggest or whatever, and as I say, it's all geared down to kind of give you the biggest ones and the most obvious ones first. You don't need 10 ETFs, you don't need 20 stocks, you just need a clear plan. And this is where I think people fail. Are you, for example, a growth investor? Are you a dividend investor? Do you want dividend growth? Do you want cyclical growth stocks or long lasting, obvious, battle hard foundation stocks which may not pay good yield, but you know they're not going to blow up anytime soon? So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you three simple options. And it's quite obvious, really. And I think people forget this. I'll be honest with you. And let's be fair. Option one is a beginner. ETFs only. If you are in an absolute pickle and you have not a clue, and as I say, go on my website, there's a free course, it'll help you. There's more added to that soon. But just understand the gravity of when you're doing some research. It is simple, it is more hands off, it is consistent. If you really want to make it even more obvious, go onto a platform that has a managed ISA or a managed investment fund, right? You don't have to, more fees, but they will look after it a bit more for you, and you will probably be a lot happier and knowing, because I know everyone doesn't want to be an investor these days, or they are scared to and they feel like they have to because cash is trash, essentially, right? The second option is a couple of core ETFs and a couple of quality stocks. Now, as I say, do your research. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting Lightyear here is because it has a lot of information all there readily available for you. It is very, very simple to get the information, the data, all the information that you may need or want or have. It's actually a really nice platform along with everything in between, as well as being able to listen to the earnings call. So it's all about the research. As I said before in previous videos, trading 2-on-2 is good, but I find that the research element really lacks and you got to go elsewhere. If you're doing your research based off just looking at that and thinking what logo looks the best, like picking a racehorse with the funniest name, you're going to probably lose. So you got to do a lot more research. I am building on here. It's called Portfolio Insights. Now, this version, you can't see the real version. There's a whole new version under the hood of this, which is going to be released on the Plus membership. This will be a lot more full on. It has a wealth tracker in it. It has a lot more information. You can save them. It will have a lot more. Honestly, the amount of information that it gives you is ridiculous now. I am debating what to do, whether I get live data or not. That'll cost a lot of money. So we'll see. But as I say, it is all about the research. The more research you do, the easier it is. Now, even the old version of this is pretty good. It will tell you where to go, because what most people forget, and I'm going to say it now, I'm going to sound like a bit of a sausage. Let me show you, because what people don't do, they do not go, and I know this for a fact because people say it, they don't go to the official website of the company, the investor resources pages. Once it finds all the information for you, it will go through a bit of information. It'll tell you high cost, red flags, whatever. But this is obviously, as I say before, it is a little bit different now. But what people don't do, they don't go to the actual website. They don't go and look at the PowerPoint presentations, which I know it's boring, but you should, realistically. Don't go on ChatGPT and ask them to research it for you. Watch the videos, read the results, understand the information that it's given you, look at all the data. A lot of it is quite noddy and simplistic, but ultimately it will tell you certain things. So there is stuff on here. This is just a random example, by the way. But as I say, look for stocks, look for things that are tangible that you know of, or you can walk in, or you can lick, or you can drink, or whatever it may be, right? Just keep it simple. And the third option is the more advanced option, which is kind of where I delve a little bit into, but not as much nowadays. Look for top quality stocks and have more of, basically. Now, I do have 75% of my stock market portfolio currently in the world of ETFs. Now, the way that I do it, I like to do dividend growth investing. Long story short, they grow their dividends year on year, and it basically means that I will get more bang for my buck as I reinvest those dividends and time goes on. Longer term focus on income and longer term compounding. This is kind of the aim of the game for me. Some of the data I have is not on here, which is fine. So this is a little bit skewed because I do have a newer fund, but more often than not, you may find that actually it doesn't really matter because I can get the data elsewhere. But I think for me, this is just me, personally, I like to own businesses as well, because over time, that dividend growth and the compounding becomes incredible. Not to mention, as I said, there's more chance of returns. You're going to make probably more using the world of the stock market as well. And you can see that even in my own portfolio. You can see over the course of those common kind of stocks, bear with me, that the returns are bigger. You can see in terms of the funds, 10%, all the other ones, very, very different. Obviously, I made a lot of money in the financial sector before I made my pie on my trading 2-on-2. So that just depends on what you're going for. But as you can see over the course of it, when I look at my holdings, the profits are pretty damn high versus, say, the funds. As you can see, quite a lot of them are doing pretty well. And as you can imagine, yes, I've only had the fund about 9 months, 10 months, the dividend pie, and there has been some changes throughout that journey. So yeah, just bear with that. That isn't the perfect of results, but you can kind of see very, very quickly that, yeah, realistically, individual stocks will return higher and more than the ETFs. But the thing is, and the final thing realistically I need to say is, yes, ETFs can build wealth. That consistent thing of just adding money to the market is key. You want to be with the market, not against the market, and also you don't want to always try and beat the market, but stocks can help accelerate that a little bit more. It's only if, as I say before in previous videos and stuff like that, if you remain fully consistent with adding your money to the pot every single month and you have a genuine plan. But this is also why I've built my website. So you've got all these tools, these insights, the courses, the investment calculators, absolutely everything that you need to hopefully become a better investor, regardless of how and what and how much money, I don't know, whatever, right? Everyone is different. I get it. But the one thing that we all should have in common, because time, consistency, compounding is the absolute key for growing wealth. And if you are pondering and wondering, well, what ETF should I have? There's a video here that will majorly help you in terms of what UK investors should have as a potential ETF.